Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 84 of the Clutch Dump. It's labeled
85.
we haven't recorded for yet, have
We
we?
have recorded episode 84. I uploaded
It is
episode 84 yesterday.
It is episode 85, ladies and gentlemen. The Rangers won game one of the World Series last night. They're going to win game two, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
We have an automotive episode for you, and
Heavy automotive episode.
Ben said, this is not my words, but Ben's, this may be the best two-car garage yet.
No, I don't know that the challenge is the best, but certainly the two cars that I picked is the singular best possible two cars you could pick for this challenge.
Well, you're wrong, because unless they're what I picked.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
Well, do we want to start with... Do we want to run through...
We got to start with two-car garage.
Start with two-car garage. Okay.
Episode.
Mr. Patty, would you like to read off your two-car garage then?
Sure. Well,
please explain to the people what we're doing.
Yeah, people, here is the two-car garage. You are a diplomat to a European country. You must select one American four-door oversized sedan or SUV for dignitary travel and government work. But then you also have to pick an American sports car that when it was new, it was a flagship model competing against imports. Typical rules apply. Budget is $500,000. Ben, let's start with our... Actually, let's start with sports cars, because I'm not going to lie, I'm really proud of my dignitary vehicle.
Okay, I am also more proud of my four-door vehicle than I am. I mean, to be fair, though, my sports car, I could probably give you 50 guesses, and you won't pick what it is.
I want to guess. Can I take a guess at your dignitary vehicle?
I'll let you guess at both. Yeah, go ahead. We'll start with sports cars.
Oh, that's right. Oh, shit. Sports car.
You have to remember, though, it's me, so it's not going to be something normal.
I want to say like an 054 GT, but I feel like that's a little too on the nose.
That's so typical, Nick. Absolutely not. That would make way too much sense.
Sports car, Ben is probably picking something. Ben, did you pick an '01 Cobra R Mustang?
No. Good pick, though. Did look at them. Not weird enough for me, so I did not pick one.
I'm out of guesses then. I don't know.
My car, which is an American sports car, is none other...
Some technicality.
No technicality. It is American. It is powered by an American motor, built in America, raced in America. I picked a 2008 Mosler MT900S.
Of course you did.
So, I found an MT900S on Bring a Trailer. It sold in December of last year. It sold for $294,000.
It has on the bone.
It has a twin-turbo LS7 and a 6-speed manual transaxle. And if people are wondering, the heck is a Mosler?
Look it up.
Selena
S7 on crack.
Okay, so Selena S7 is where my mind went, first. I was like, let's go for Selena S7. The cheapest Selena...
Neither of those even just for a moment crossed my mind.
So, the Selena 7, for starters, way too expensive for this challenge. Like, the cheapest S7 that sold in the past 3 years was $550,000. Like, they're just way too much money. But no one knows what a Mosler is. So, MT900S. And, just to cover the bases, that when it was a flagship model, competed against imports, the MT900R, a race-prepared version of the MT900, won the GTS division of the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona in 2003. Won its class. It was the number 24 Perspective Racing MT900R, finished 9th overall, first in class. Other vehicles in class include Celine S7R, Corvette C5R, 996 GT3R, and the 911 GT1. That is a flagship American sports car that raced against imports.
My car is not nearly as cool, my sports car. I will say this, though. My car still somehow seems more American. Because I chose the biggest and baddest front-engine Chevy, arguably of all time. I chose... It's such a good color. I chose a 2019 Corvette ZR1. Oof. In Riverside Blue with great exterior, 7-speed manual. this car, you could put a freaking American flag on the trunk and just rip and dip. And
Rip it, and it would make perfect sense.
yeah, so this would be the vehicle that theoretically I would pull up to embassy meetings in, and then I would bang it off the limiter outside the embassy.
Gotta let them know, just in case anyone forgot who has arrived.
Yeah, I didn't choose white, I didn't choose gray, not black. No, we went Elkhart Lake blue.
Oh, sorry, by the way, I forgot to mention, the Mosler is British Racing Green over light tan.
Well, that's not very American, Ben.
No, but it's got a twin-turbo LS7, which is.
Oh, yes, true, yes.
So...
I can see the Auto Trader link to that Corvette in the chats, and it's got the ZTK track performance. It's got your preferred equipment package. It's got all the works, and they're asking a cool $259,900 for it.
Dang. The Mosler sold for $294, so they're actually pretty close.
Yeah.
Which is surprising, and I'd like to say I'm curious as to which one's faster, but it's almost certainly the Corvette. So...
Yeah. I don't know on that one, but that's a good question. I was originally going to pick a C6 ZR1, and then this one popped up, and I was like,
for starters, when I read the challenge, the wording is set up to pick a Corvette. That's kind of how the wording was set up to me. That's how I read it, as it's like,
GT when I
flag. I thought 054 GT, and I thought Corvette because C6R and 054 GT, obviously.
Right.
When I read it, it's like, flagship American sports cars. When you think American sports cars, you think Corvette, and then you think, you know what? Yeah, Ford GT. And I was like, right, we're not picking a Corvette or Ford GT. Neither of those. So
Ben, onto your dignitary vehicle, though. I feel like you probably chose a CTSV.
This is where things get complicated.
Oh, no.
No. Not complicated, but like I said, I got some meat left out of my budget, right? I only spent $294 on my sports car, okay? So I got some room left. And if you were going to pick an American oversized four-door sedan, you then think, how much four-door sedan can you get? And there is a singular answer that is the perfect vehicle for this challenge, and it is none other than a 1969 Lincoln Continental.
Yep, there it is.
Presidential limo. None other than a 69 Lincoln Continental presidential limo. Four-door, 460 cubic inch V8, 3-speed auto, front corner mounted American flags. It's got the American flags up on the front fenders, side mounted presidential seals, vinyl roof cover, rear coach doors.
Yes, because vinyl will protect you from a 308.
White walls. That's how you know it's important, is it's got white walls on it. And the best part is the two, because it's a 3-row vehicle, right? And the rear 2 rows face each other. So it's perfect. It makes sense. But here's the thing. I got some budget left over. And you can't be a dignitary in this day and age and be driving around a car from 1969. What if it breaks down? You can't be getting stranded.
So Ben picked a third.
So, my leftover money, I'm sending it to a shop, and I'm having my 1969 Lincoln Continental updated.
So, I have a shit ton of money left over, and I have updates too.
Okay. So, I have priced out, and I have used numbers from Muscle Rod as far as labor hours. I've done this properly. I haven't cheated.
Oh, stupid.
So my 1969 Lincoln Continental Presidential Limo is getting a 7.3-liter Ford crate motor out of a brand new F-250. It's torquey, it's reliable, great for hauling around a big vehicle, with a 10-speed automatic transmission. And it's got everything, the ECU, the throttle pedal, front engine accessories, new AC compressor, new AC system, priced that out as well. Fuel system for all that, cooling system, drive shaft, wiring harness, and labor. Plus, it's got old seats in it. You can't be driving around with old seats.
They're old comfy seats.
They are old comfy seats, but I also have budget for a custom interior. So I had a custom interior done. Got some updated seats. Maybe got some massage seats out of an S-Class in there. All that.
It's a Rolls-Royce Wraith inside a Continental.
Inside a 69 Continental, that's how you do it. You know,
maybe you want to talk about sick-ass builds. I want to. Then let's create a custom shop where all it is Lincoln Continentals.
Is Lincoln Continentals with like brand new, like, you know, flagship luxury interiors in them.
8-liter Viper V10s. You know.
So for starters, I forgot to mention my presidential limo is $32,000.
Okay, so my
Heads up.
4-door vehicle is only $7,000 more than that.
Well, my restoration is $103,000.
Well, I haven't come up with a restoration, but I have about $250,000 to play with.
So my total budget, so my total price comes out to $429,494. We'll call it $430,000. Then I'm spending on my 4-door Dignitary custom interiored 7.3 liter Lincoln Continental and my Mosler MT900, which I think might be the best 2-car garage you can have is a presidential limo parked next to a Mosler.
I want y'all to comment if you're watching this on YouTube, what y'all think is a better 2-car garage, because my Dignitary vehicle,
please,
will be upgraded with bulletproof everything.
Okay,
so imagine me driving through the streets of Kabul, Afghanistan, in an armor-plated 1988 2500 Suburban.
It's pretty good. It's very good.
The lift. Let me send it, or let me put it in the Google Doc notes. Now, this
please.
one originally has a 350 V8. We would chunk that and get rid of it, right? We gotta go big or go home. So this thing's gonna get a 454.
There's my presidential limo for you, by the way.
Oh, fantastic! I gotta go look at this. This thing's already in the perfect colors. Silver and blue. It just looks presidential. If I were to pull up...
that's fantastic, Nick.
If I were to pull up in this with bulletproof glass, bulletproof doors, the Taliban would surrender when they saw it, okay? Like, this truck is the AK-47 of what presidential vehicles could be. It is cheap, reliable, and affordable, accessible, tried and true. So I would be all Chevy, and I'd be wearing a bow tie as a diplomat.
Perfect. I do quite like your 2-car garage. It's
it
very good.
I was sitting there thinking, like, imagine if I was stationed in, like, Indonesia, and I was like, let's go for a drive, and it's like one of those Top Gear episodes where it's a ZR1 and shitty roads and potholes and little motorbikes going past you, but...
Yeah, I'm going to be driving around, third world countries in my Mosler, which I don't think anyone's ever said that.
It's like I'm gonna be driving through Peru in my Mosler.
in my Mosler MT900S, making turbo whooshy noises.
But on the flip side, let's say we were a diplomat to Singapore or Monaco, we'd fit right in.
Perfect.
But that's when I drive the Suburban. I'm in Monaco. I go around the hairpin in the Suburban, and I'm like,
picks up the inside wheels. So, oh my gosh, that was a fantastic edition of 2-car garage. I quite like that one. I just saw Continental. Dude, it's so good, right? Like, I was for starters, my mind immediately went Celine S7 and Lincoln Continental, which I think means I should go see a therapist.
No, I think dude, you could not replace that interior. Are you kidding?
It's okay. I don't know that I'd replace them. Like, it's not going to go leather. I would just go new and like make them recline. And then also, I'm changing out the center console for like one of the champagne fridges that Bentley Mulsannes have.
One of these.
Right? It's freaking cool. It's so cool.
If you actually were to put like an LS7 or something in the front.
Dude, that F250 motor makes 550 pound-feet of torque with a 10-speed, bro, because you don't want it to be loud. You want it to be silent. You want to sit in the back and just not hear the outside world. So it's got enough torque. You could cruise at 90. But yeah, dude, it's so cool.
And it sold for $32,000.
Dude, that is physically so much car for $32,000.
When we say that's a lot of car, we quite literally mean that is a lot of sheet metal.
Physically an abundance of vehicle for $32,000. I like the phone in the backseat as well.
I do too.
That gets to stay. Like, I'd figure out how to make that work.
I would need to make the call, sir, the president has just been shot. And then...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, that's one of my finest. I'm very pleased with that one. But yeah, Nick, I had like a whole separate document that I had like a spreadsheet going on my Lincoln Continental build that I'm never going to build because... Yeah. I should, though. I should build a Lincoln Continental limo. If I ever buy a limo, Nick, I'll road trip it and come see you.
Oh, absolutely. So, please do. You should still go buy that, what was that Toyota wagon?
Oh, the Crown. The Toyota Crown wagon.
Absolutely.
Oh, that thing was so cool, dude.
It was so awesome. Cool. It could be yours.
Still is. I think it's still for sale.
It probably is.
Do we want to move on to some regular automotive news? We've got a couple news bits here that we're going to run into. Our main topic for today is mainly the Japanese Mobility Show, as we did get about 1,000 concepts this
Yeah,
past
it was
week.
pretty awesome.
But we do have a couple things to talk about. Nick, did you see this new Audi R8 GT3/GT2/ Crazy Death Race Car Road Machine thing?
I did, and it just adds another goddamn wrinkle to our conversation about GTD v ZR1 v GT3 RS.
Yes, it does, and that's why I put it in the notes. Here's the thing, though. I don't think it's going to be close.
Like, much faster, much slower?
I think, excuse me, of the four, it'll probably be at the bottom.
So here's what I don't understand.
It's down on horsepower, and presumably it's going to be rear-wheel drive.
Audi has a dynasty at Le Mans. Audi has some of the most incredible engineers in the world. However, they are never in the conversation when it comes to supercars, hypercars, sports cars. Like, nobody... Now, I say nobody. I mean, like, you want to talk amongst the German brands? You have a bigger AMG and M series contingent than you do...
Way more.
S or RS Audi people. Now,
Yeah.
people like us, I would consider you an M guy. I'm definitely a Porsche guy. Like, we like some Audis, but that's because we're car guys, not like because we're dedicated Audi people.
Right.
So, like, Audi is spending... I was going to say oodles of money, but I guess this is really just the final installation of a 15-year-old platform.
Right.
That all being said, I don't know how they could come out with a car like this, and nobody really gives a shit. Like, Ford, huge press. GT3 RS took the world over.
Right.
People are soiling themselves over the ZR1, waiting for that to be announced. And it's just like, oh, here's like a GT2 Evo Audi R8. Just go.
Well, and here's the thing about the current generation Audi R8. For starters, I think they look fantastic. Like, just a normal R8. I think they look quite good. I do really like them. I personally think the first gen R8s look better than these.
I agree.
But that's just because they're aging quite well. But like, they've done like 15 different special editions of the second gen Audi R8.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of them.
No.
Like, I see way more Huracans than I do R8s.
I think I have seen 6 more Carrera GTs than I've seen Audi R8, like this newer body style. And I've seen a total of 6 Carrera GTs.
Yeah. Like they just...
I've never seen the new body style R8.
You don't see them. Yeah, and I think the problem is because, number one, the R8 was kind of always like, oh, I want to buy a Lamborghini, but I don't want to be seen driving around in a Skittle kind of thing.
Well, but they also had a manual originally, which was a huge draw to the R8, was I get a 6-speed.
Right, so that was cool, and then they got rid of it, and then it just became a long wheelbase Huracan, is what it was. I think they were 2 or 3 inches longer in wheelbase, and it was all legroom. So I think that was the appeal, but I also think, like, if you're going to buy one of these, you're probably just going to go buy a Turbo S. Like, that's kind of... That's where I probably... Unless I, like, really want to hear a V10.
Well, this is the thing. The R8 is not... In the hierarchy of supercars, it is probably the most comfortable of, like...
Oh, for sure. For sure. Proper mid-engine supercars. It
has this weird crossover with the 911, or even... whatever the sportiest version of the Bentley Continental is, where
the GT Speed,
it's comfy and it's really good for grand touring.
Right.
Now, obviously, the Bentley's not even close on the track, but depending on the trim level or price level of a 911, it's going to be just as good on track.
Right.
Additionally, the R8 isn't... Nobody sees an R8 unless they are an Audi diehard.
Right.
Like,
they disappear. Yeah, they disappear.
Anybody that sees a GT3 or an RS is like, holy shit, there's a GT3.
Yeah, they freak out about it because they're... Yeah, it doesn't have the supercar... The thing about supercars, Richard Hammond is the one that comes to mind, because I don't know if you remember when Richard Hammond reviewed the Huracan when it first came out on Top Gear.
Yes, I do.
And he reviewed a bright green Huracan on Top Gear, and his thing was like, but it's not that much of a poster car. Like, it doesn't have that much, like, wow to it. And then the R8 came out, and it's like, wow, the Huracan's a poster car. Like, it's so much crazier than an R8, you know? So, I think that's the problem with the R8, is it's an understated supercar. So you don't see them.
But at the same time, it's not understated because it's excelling at something else. It's just
Right.
understated.
Yeah.
Meaning, I think like a 911 Turbo is understated, but it does stuff really well. Being a Grand Tourer,
Right.
really good power and whatever, and being basically a non-aero.
So,
It's a non-aero car at the top of the line. But the
right.
R8 does it. It is just a Lamborghini. But the only thing that makes Lamborghinis special is the flashiness. That's all that
Right.
they are. And so you take that away from it. It's like, so you have a Lambo that doesn't have what makes a Lambo special.
Right.
It's not
Now,
really an Audi either. It's
something to note about this R8 crazy road going GT car is it's being done by ABT, which was a tuning company that then got bought by Porsche. So it's kind of like Manti is now owned by Porsche.
Porsche Audi.
No, or sorry, ABT was a Audi tuning company
Right.
that got bought by Audi.
Oh.
So it's kind of like how there's like Manti GT3 RSs.
Right.
Like it's done by Porsche, but not it's done by like this weird division of Porsche kind of thing. So that's what this is. It's going to be released under the Audi name, presumably not under the ABT name. It's going to be like R8 GT3 Evo by ABT or something. So, but I think we'll count it in our little conversation, considering Multimatic built the GTD and all that stuff. So I think we'll count it in the conversation. I think it looks crazy. The roof scoop is nuts.
It looks really hot.
It looks awesome. That rear wing is ridiculous. Makes a GT3 RS wing look tiny. So I think it'll be super cool.
It doesn't though.
It's very tall for an R8 at least.
But
we know
tall wing. Like
right.
It's just not
surface area wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we know no specs about it, but we've seen it doing laps of the Nürburgring. And official Audi officials being around the car. So we know it's an Audi thing. We just know nothing about it yet. So we'll keep you updated on that. Now, Nick, Tom Walkinshaw Racing. Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, because there's Walkinshaw and Andretti, right?
It's Walkinshaw and Andretti. Also, Tom Walkinshaw Racing is known by most people as TWR, also known as the people who race the XJ220 Jag at Le Mans. So that TWR. So TWR is coming out with a new road car.
Also,
we're
multitasking.
What is this?
P3.
Oh, look at that. Oh, Formula One's a thing this weekend. Right.
Yeah, Mexico.
I forgot. Sorry.
There you go. It's been we know replacing the wheel bearing on a Ford.
This is true. So we know nothing about this car from TWR. We've seen a spy shot of it that we haven't really gotten much from, but I think it's super interesting to see a company that only built race cars for so long and has such a big heritage now build a road car. So that should be super interesting. We know nothing about it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of like XJ220 homage type thing. Just judging by, I have no idea. We know nothing about it. All they did was just an Instagram post with it's like a rear quarter panel shot, and then it's just like coming soon. That's all we know. So, but TWR building a car, so should be interesting. I threw this in here just because I sent Nick a picture of it, and he said that's hot, so we get to talk about it. Yamaha XSR 900 GP. Yeah. So there is a new cafe racer vintage 80s race bike inspired Yamaha called the XSR 900 GP. It's pretty cool. They used Wayne Rainey to debut the bike in their little commercial they did, which was super cool. So it's based on the XSR 900 naked bike, which is based on the MT-09 naked bike. But they gave it fairings, and it's got like an old school cafe racer bullet nose on it with a little tiny headlight. It looks awesome. I think it's spiced up a bit, different tunes, clip-ons, and it's got some rear sets on it that are super cool. And if I had money, I'd give all of it to get one of these. So XSR 900, super cool. It's so cool, dude. We talk about it all the time in our little motorcycle group that we have here, because Yamaha makes an R3, an R6, an R7, and an R1. And the R7 is a sport bike version of the MT-07 naked bike. And I always said that if Yamaha made an R7, a sport bike version of the MT-09, I would buy one. And this is kind of that. It just looks cooler than the sport bike would.
Oh, yeah.
So it's super cool. They haven't said if it's going to be a limited run or not. They also haven't said if it's coming to America. We're assuming it is, considering, like...
America's probably the largest market for...
America's probably the largest market for it, but... like it was Yamaha Europe, I think, that posted the video. So we'll see. I imagine it's coming here, but to be determined. If it does, I'm assuming they're all going to be crazy expensive. Like this is probably easily a $15,000-$16,000 bike.
Yeah,
which is nuts considering a normal XSR 900 is $9,000. So.
Speaking of bikes, Brendan is coming to Coda next year to do a motorcycle track day.
Is he? Sick. Do you know who he's doing it through?
I don't know, but he met this guy at work who like semi-professionally races Yamahas and stuff. And so the guy, when Brendan was like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to do a track day," the guy apparently does these, is a part of a few clubs anyway. But I was like, "Oh, you can tell Ben, and then he could kick your butt." So
yeah, it's true.
You kick him because our sick.
Yeah. So, and then some other news, Nick. We have information on the new Dodge Charger and Dodge Challenger platforms,
which is
known as the
weird.
LB platform. So, Dodge discontinued the Hemi. That happened in August of this year, I believe it was. I think it was August 1st that the final day to order a Hemi-powered vehicle was.
As I was so poignantly informed by you.
Yes.
I had my 5.7 as, well, they're not actually hemispherical cylinders anymore, so it's not really a Hemi, so actually it's not heavy at all.
No, the problem is it is a Hemi. The problem is most cars these days are Hemis with hemispherical combustion chambers. Like, so calling it a Hemi is fine because it is, but you could also probably slap a Hemi badge on most vehicles these days.
I'm going to throw a Hemi badge on the Camaro.
Do it. So, you'll get bullied by everyone you see. Do it right now.
So what changes? I'm still confused.
Sorry. But they announced the discontinuation of the Hemi, so we all assumed they were going electric because Stellantis said they're doing this big push, and they showed us the, what was it, Charger Daytona Demon. Like, they gave it some crazy concept name. Right, that's what it was, the Banshee. So they gave us this electric concept car, which I actually thought looked really good, and it had fake speakers in it. I think it looked really cool. And now we have pictures of
They weren't speakers.
Were they not speakers? What was it?
How many people do I have to tell this? I don't know why I'm the only person that knows this.
Because you're the only person that cares, Nick, because it's a Dodge.
Look it up, but I will also provide the information.
Please.
Dodge has patented a proprietary system to take the exertion or strain of the battery, and that noise is coming from the battery. It is a battery-generated noise, but they figured out a way and patented it to channel basically the exhaustion of the battery, the use of the battery into something that isn't. So anyway, that's not like I heard it through the rumor mill, although I did hear it from multiple people at Dodge. But also,
yes,
if you look up, I don't remember, because right when the Banshee came out, everybody was like, "Oh my God, they're putting car sounds for speakers and blah." But then there was an article, I don't remember who it was, that I read, and I was like, "Oh, that's actually badass." But it's
actually quite interesting.
So,
okay, well, good to know. Well, anyway, they came up with this concept that was all electric, and everyone was up in arms about it. And it is cool. I think it's awesome. I quite like it. As far as electric cars go, it's really interesting.
It looks more like a 68 Charger than anything else.
True. So, some people were excited about it, some people hated it. Anyway, now it turns out that the next generation Charger and Challenger is going to be gas powered.
Yes.
So
I don't. I don't understand how Dodge sold however many vehicles. Last call for the internal combustion Challenger. We're making more internal combustion Challengers. It's like a stupid apology video.
But they're all going to be 6 cylinders.
But that's still...
No, it's still a thing. And they're Yeah, so
6 cylinders.
So they're all 6 cylinders. Dodge is not building any more V8s. There is a TRX prototype that people have seen driving around that has an inline 6 in it.
If you're going to keep burning gas in a V6, why not just make the V8?
It's not a V6. It's an inline 6. It's way better than a V6. So,
I am actually depressed.
So why? You drive a Camaro. So, the future... Yes, so the future Charger...
Dodge, so which means the racing school is going to have a bunch of... And I'm gonna be like,
But inline six is the best sounding platform on the planet.
no,
but
it's not, and it's not even close.
so the future
Flat
Charger
12,
Challengers,
and we've been through this flat 12.
which is just two inline sixes stuck together, but whatever. So
You are
the
such a
future Charger Challenger and TRX platforms
It's
are,
going under a Ford again, all right? You go,
are all wait, I don't have parts, I can't. Are all going to use what is called the Hurricane engine, which is a twin turbo 3-liter inline six that makes 520 horsepower.
not to be confused with the Huracan.
Yes. But 520 horsepower. So they're going to be faster.
So,
All of them will be available with rear or all-wheel drive.
Listen, if some dude pulled up next to me, right, and I'm in the Camaro, and he's got his girl with him, and he's in the Dodge Hell Kitten Special, and it's an inline six, and he's
You're
sitting
going to get
there,
smoked.
he's all, I won't even race, because I'm like, so what? I got cool noises. I got America under this hood, and you got that Japanese liberal European bullshit. Yeah,
I love inline sixes.
you're a BMW guy. You have to.
Yeah. That's why I said I like inline sixes. If you don't like them, that's fine. But I quite like inline sixes, and lots of people do.
Inline sixes are not the best. They're not even the best six-cylinder.
No, according to physics, they are.
Okay, since when did physics buy a car?
Physics builds cars. Cars work off of science. That's how it works.
Unless
they are balanced engines. Yeah, but they're Germans. They don't listen to the rules or anyone. So, but yeah. Also, I'm a BMW person, which is German. So yeah, it's fine. Anyway,
flat six is better. If you had told me Dodge was putting a front-engine flat six in it, I would be happier. I don't know if I would, but
I don't know that you would. I think that would be way worse.
Oh, fun fact. It'll be posted, but there was a DeLorean at Radwood that I didn't know what it had done to it.
Mm-hmm.
It had a 5.4 liter LS4 in the rear.
Strange.
Made into a 996 six-speed.
Why'd they use an LS4? That's like the worst. It's genuinely the worst LS ever made. It's different than all the other ones. Interesting.
But I was like, huh?
That's pretty interesting.
What?
Actually make a DeLorean half decent.
Anyway, continue.
Anyway, new Charger Challenger TRX platforms, twin turbo inline six.
Sucks.
Better than being electric. We'll take it.
Is it though?
Nick Patty, we saw a bunch of concepts this past week out of the Japanese mobility show. Some of them hot, some of them not.
Ooh, are we gonna play hot or not with Japanese?
Kind of, yeah. So, Toyota released 5 concepts. We care about one of them. The one that we care about is the FT-SE. For starters,
known as
the new MR2.
R2, yeah.
So, for starters, automotive manufacturers, can you start giving cars names again?
Hey, Alex
please?
Sixth.
Spicy.
Logie Sarge.
So, Albon finished P2 in FP2.
We don't need to talk about that. Okay.
Sorry.
We're trying to
Toyota released a car called the FT. You're the one who brought it up. Called the FT-SE, which is the new age MR2 type thing that they're building. It's not called an MR2. They haven't said if it's going to be electric or not.
I think they have, haven't they?
They have.
We've seen has said it's electric, but I don't know if that was confirmed.
They have, but on the interior shots, there's a gauge that says boost. I'm holding out hope.
Toyota's so used to making turbocharged engines, they just forgot. They're like, oh,
yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, that makes about as much sense as calling something a Taycan Turbo S. It's the same thing. Is it not? Anyway, the FT-SE. Nick, do you think it looks good? Do you like the FT-SE?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so this is one of the good ones. I'm hyped about it. As soon as I saw the side profile, I immediately thought MR2 or Evora.
Yeah.
The roofline has got some Evora to it. The headlights look rad. I thought Cadillac when I saw the headlights. The thin beams that go all the way down. It's got a super cool shape to it. Apparently, it's part of the GR platform. This will be the first electric GR car, if it is electric. Excuse me.
Excused.
Thank you. But MR2, building a sports car again, should be super cool. And not the Subaru BRZ GR86 thing. Lexus released 2 prototypes called the LFZC and the LFZL. Once again, no normal names there. Honda released a Prelude. Nick and I have different opinions on this car.
Yes, we do. And you're wrong.
There it is. So, Honda released a new Prelude. I think it looks good.
Okay.
However...
how do we disagree?
However, it doesn't look like a Prelude should.
Who cares? We're in the era of mid-engined Corvettes. Do you think, like...
But at least the C8 Corvette ties back to the C7 Corvette.
No, it doesn't. How?
It does. If you look at it, it has attributes that...
Nope. No, it doesn't. It just
does. If someone said draw a mid-engine C7, it would be a C8.
That is fundamentally incorrect.
They look identical. Anyway, the new Prelude looks nothing like the old one. It's way too swoopy. I think it's way too tall. The wheels are way too big. It's super gross. I want VTEC 2 liters and crappy interior back, okay? Anyway.
Yeah, what I've never understood...
No, please, go ahead.
Oh, it's a rant for another time.
Nope, it's a podcast, Nick. We've got time. Go ahead.
I hope Daddy Walter wants...
You're wrong. Anyway, the new Prelude...
I hate that there is this cult... How many goddamn regular commuter Japanese vehicles are going to get this cult status for no good reason? It's
because they drive great. Have you ever driven a Prelude, Nick?
There are so many cars that drive well. Why do they all have to be cult classics?
Because they're cool.
The only car that deserves the classic is the 911.
Oh my gosh. Let it be known. Old Camaros, old Chargers, Challengers don't deserve to be classics. Just the 911.
Don't drive well.
No, they don't. I drove one yesterday. They drive horrible. Actually, I drove 3 different old Mopars yesterday. All of them terrible. Anyway, new Prelude. I think it looks good. It's going to be available as an electric vehicle or a hybrid. And sadly, I think this is going to fall victim to the current thing that happens with new cars. It's going to be heavy and won't drive well. That's it. It's my only comments on it. I'm incredibly disappointed. Nick, did you see the Nissan new GTR concept Starfighter spaceship thing?
It looks stupid.
Big L.
That L down. Somebody goes... I saw somebody on Twitter and they're like, man, I just hope they keep putting a 6-cylinder in this because this thing's badass. And I was like, huh?
There's no shot that there is any internal combustion engine in that car, nor was it ever planned to have an internal combustion engine.
Also, can we just go back to the Ital design R35 like re-edition car?
Oh, what a car.
That car now, what was that, like 5 or 6 years ago when that came out, it still looks modern. It looks futuristic.
It looks fantastic.
I don't know what the hell? This thing looks like a Cybertruck that has saggy titties. I said it.
That is.
The car looks like it is melted into the road.
That is disturbingly accurate. That is.
Thank God. I was going to be hung out to dry.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'll just cut out the part where I agreed with you, and I'll just leave your part in, and then we'll just cut to the Mazda iconic SP.
Which is the coolest Japanese car I've seen in the last 20 years.
The hottest concept car to come out of Japan in a very long time. And supposedly it's the new Miata. Supposedly it's like a lot of people are calling it a new Miata, a lot of people are calling it a new RX-7. Yeah, the thing that bothered me...
People are also just lazy, so instead of saying, maybe it's creating its own new thing, they're like, oh, it's another RX-7.
So it does have some elements of the last generation RX-7 in general, like window shape design. There's some throwback there. There's some first gen Miata in the rear, but really you can't tie it to anything.
I would say I think it looks completely new and different, which is
I
fantastic.
think it looks completely new and different. I think the front end of it is so hot. I think the doors are the business. I think the rear end looks so. It's
Dude.
such a good, simple shape.
I know nobody agrees with me. Shelby doesn't agree with me. You don't agree.
No one, just in general, no one
The
does.
interior
Most things
looks so hot. Hear me out why.
so hot, dude. The interior is so good.
Are you being for real?
Straight up, dude. I love it. It's
I messaged you
awesome.
on Twitter. You said it was an L.
No, I mentioned no. The blue interior in the
Yeah.
SP. Yeah, it's the coolest thing about the
It
car.
looks like
It's
a 90s
so cool.
GT1 car. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so cool.
The big tunnel, the little toggle switches on top of it. You have the race wheel. That thing, I would buy that car.
I'm a
just for the
big fan of
interior.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's got Brembos on it, which I just noticed from this picture, which I'm
Not a Miata, because no Miata needs Brembos.
if you buy a Miata Club Edition, it comes with Brembos.
Yeah, okay, that's called overkill.
Yes, I love Overkill. It's my favorite. So, but I think this looks so cool. I think if this replaced the Miata, number one, I think Miata people would be upset.
Screw
Understand.
Miata people.
This is, well, you have to remember though, this is going to be twice as expensive as Miata, if not more.
Screw Miata people.
It's going to be so much more expensive.
Stop buying cheap old cars.
Great cheap old cars, by the way.
Yeah, no, they're great. But I'm sick and tired of acting like the Miata is the only car that can do what it does well. Which is low horsepower, high revving, well balanced.
It's like a Boxster, but good. Yeah, that's true.
Here's what happened.
We went the same way, but parted ways a bit.
Of the I don't know what it's from, but where the kids are driving the car and they're like, look at this.
That's exactly what that was. Anyway, Mazda Iconic SP. If this is the new RX-7 or the new Miata, it doesn't matter. I don't care what they call it. If they build a car that looks 90% as good as this one, and it has that interior in it, I will give Mazda money. I will give Mazda money. Mazda, if you're watching this, we want to give you money.
Also,
we want to buy this.
Fuel efficient. It would be really helpful in convincing my wife.
Speaking of motors, supposedly this has a 2-rotor rotary engine,
but
and an electric motor. It's a hybrid.
Right, but the rotaries charge the battery, correct?
Right. So they basically just act as a generator. They don't connect to
drivetrain.
Yeah. And supposedly the rotary engine can run on hydrogen, which is pretty neato.
Here's what I would do. I've already come up with a design for the car. I would have it in bare aluminum. Not that it's made of aluminum, but I'd get a finish like that.
It might be aluminum. It'd be either aluminum or carbon fiber.
And then I would have the front nose just behind the headlights painted yellow. Like forward, like the old 60s Ferraris and...
Oh, that'd be cool. I'd be about that.
One of those? Oof.
I'll be honest.
With the blue interior? That would be cool.
I was about to say, I would get it in an off-white with blue nose stripe on the front. You know how Ferrari did the Monza SP1 nose stripe?
Yep.
I would get it in an off-white with a navy blue nose stripe with the blue interior.
Oh, dude, I need one of these.
Moral of the story, Mazda, build a sports car with blue interior, please.
Or just build Mazda, build a sports car that we know you're capable of building and don't cut corners because you're trying to meet a cost number.
Yup. Okay.
We could build the coolest sports cars behind the Germans and arguably the Italians if they were just willing to get over the fact that they're trying to make things affordable. Just make it
True.
Build something awesome.
Build something good. People paid for the RX-7, so, and it was 2 or 3 times as expensive as, an MX-5. So people will buy it. Nick, did you see what was it called? The DX concept? Is that what it was?
Probably not.
Okay. DX concept. So I just added a picture of it in the bottom of the notes page.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Hold your judgment real quick before you see it. Okay. That's about what I expected. For those of you that don't know, Nick just made a very confused face. So this is called the DX concept. So it is an electric off-road minivan. Which, as someone who was looking at vehicles to do the overlanding things, I think you would like this. I think this is pretty cool.
I'll say this: it's better than a Cybertruck, and it's
way cooler than a
minivan.
The bar is low, but it's above the bar.
But it's not like I'll take a T-Rex, thanks.
Yeah, like it's not the coolest thing, but like also, what was the last cool thing that Mitsubishi made? The Eclipse.
That's Mitsubishi.
That's a Mitsubishi. That's the DX concept. That is a Mitsubishi.
What was the Lancer Evo? Get out of here.
Oh, I forgot about the Evo 10. I'm sorry, Evo people. So that is the DX concept. I think it's super cool. I think a Mitsubishi starts
these brands that just went.
They just disappeared, bro. Disappeared. Bring back the Mitsubishi. Bring back the Starion. All right, bring back the Starion so we can hang out with the iconic SP and the Starions with our blue interiors.
Car news that I totally forgot about and didn't include in the notes. Did you see the new Supra?
Sidebar.
The Supra, like
GRMN.
I don't know what the name is, but it's basically going to be like a 600 horsepower monster.
Yeah, GRMN, which looks rowdy.
Yeah.
Do you like the new Supra?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at. I'm not gonna lie, actually, when I was looking at the Daytona.
New Supra, new Z.
So I think we've asked this before.
Probably, but just curious. Both manuals. Which one do you think looks better?
That's what I'm hesitating on. Because here's the thing, when the Z came out, I bitched and moaned. I ain't even gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
But man, do they look good in person?
It's coming around, man. It's pretty good.
Probably the Z, and I would just put it in Paul Newman 240 livery.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That wins. I'd take a Supra and I'll put it in the JGTC Castrol livery. Thank you. So, I like the Supras. I think they look better, personally.
You haven't seen a Z in person, then, have you?
I have. There's tons of them in San Antonio.
I don't believe you.
I think they look good, but I loved the Supra when it came out.
Of course, there's a bunch of them in San Antonio. Stupid, freaking rich kids.
You know what? I probably just haven't seen them parked next to each other. It's probably what it is. I've seen them at separate times. So, see here. What else was interesting that came? I think that was all the interesting stuff that we commented on.
Yeah.
Suzuki came out with some stuff because Suzuki still builds cars apparently, and Daihatsu came out with some concept cars because Daihatsu still exists for some reason. That's kind of all the news bits that we had. Nick, is there anything else you wanted to mention? I know there was some motorsports stuff that happened.
No, we can say the motorsports episode as we recap the Mexico GP that's happening tomorrow. And
yes,
modded culture tonight, which I actually am considering eating a 308.
What?
The round?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I went straight to Ferrari. Sorry. I was like, that seems incredibly difficult. That's because I'm a child.
Yeah, no, I'm just not excited about modded culture, so, you know.
Why? Because it's Stancy Boys and you're a Porsche
I don't feel like
person?
I'm allowed to say it due to the fact that I have a vested interest in working with them, so I'm going to
fair enough.
Keep my mouth shut.
So, by the way, I just saw an article thing here. The Toyota FTSE, the MR2 thing, could go into production 2027. Gotta wait some time on that, but that's not terribly far. Their problem, though, is if Mazda beats them. If Mazda brings that iconic SP out in 2026, ain't no one buying that Toyota.
That's true.
So our final thoughts from this episode: Mazda, please build a good-looking car with blue interior, please. Actually, more car companies build good-looking cars with blue interiors. We want to buy them,
or just build good-looking cars and give us options to customize. Thank you.
True, thank you. That's going to do it from us here at the Clutch Dump for episode 85. Like Nick said at the top of the show, maybe I don't know if he did. Make sure you go follow. He's slacking today. Make sure you go follow us on social media at the Clutch Dump. Make sure you follow us here on YouTube at the Clutch Dump. Pod, like, subscribe, share the video, comment down below what you thought of all the concepts revealed, what you think of our two-car garage. Would you rather have A ZR1 and a Suburban, or a Mosler and a Lincoln Continental. What an eclectic group of vehicles. And then anything else you want to comment on, talk about, anything that we missed in the world of automotive this past week, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on, make sure you give us a follow, subscribe, leave a rating, and a review if you can. That's going to do it from us. We will see you next time for a Motorsport episode.